welcome back to RJK English. Today we're going to talk about two things. They're not necessarily related, but one is the word put, to put, and the other is the phrase by the way, okay? So first we're going to talk about put. What does it mean if I put my cup on the shelf? What does it mean if I take my cup, and I put my cup on the shelf? It means I place it there, right? So to put is to place something somewhere. Someone might say, hey Alex, your pens, they're all over the place. Put them in their holder. Put them there. Or if you have children and they have all of their toys out, right? You say, come on children, it's time. Put away your toys. This doesn't mean throw away. Throw away is to throw something away from you. Throw it away. Throw it in the trash because the trash is going to go away from you. Put away means to put it in the place it's supposed to be. So my books, you can see my books back here. If they're all on the ground, my wife will go, can you put away your books? Can you put away your books? That means put my books back on the shelf where they belong. To clean up. Put away kind of means to clean up. Put it in its place. You can also be put in your place. I was put in my place. Remember, put away means to put something where it's supposed to be. What is my place in a job? If I work under a manager, my place is being a subordinate. Subordinate means to work under someone, to be under them in a hierarchy. So if I'm in the military, my captain is above me and I am a subordinate. And if I am disrespectful towards him, I am doing insubordination. I'm guilty of insubordination. I have acted towards him outside of my place as being under him. So I was put in my place by my boss. This means I was talking big, like I was the boss, and my boss said, I'm the boss. Go do what you're supposed to do. He put me in my place, okay? He humbled me, but back where you're supposed to be, okay? So I can be put, what does it mean to be put in an uncomfortable position? It means to be placed in it, and you're in a uncomfortable position. It doesn't mean the way you sit, it means relationally. So this is not physical. So my friend comes up to me and he says, hey Alex, how you doing? I'm like, hey, how are you doing? And he says, Alex, how much do you make? What's your salary? I'm like, he has put me in an uncomfortable position. In the US, we don't talk about our salaries because we don't like to compare ourselves to each other. So he has put me in this strange position where now I have to tell him either I don't want to talk about it, which is uncomfortable, or to tell him, and then he might not be happy about it. Or he might think he's above me if he makes more than me. What if you're having a party and you didn't invite someone? You don't have any more room. But then your neighbor comes and says, hey, am I invited to the party? You are now put in an uncomfortable position. We use another word for this. I have been put between a rock and a hard place, or I am between a rock and a hard place. A rock and a hard place are two uncomfortable places. This rock is hard, a hard place is hard. They're the same thing. I don't have a good choice either way. I can either invite him and have my family angry at me, or I can not invite him. I can say no, and now he's mad at me. You can be put in an advantageous position. So maybe everybody's trying to get this position as a supervisor, okay? Everybody on the team, right? And you do something really good that the boss says, oh, everybody, look at Raj. He's a great worker. You should be like him. You've been put in an advantageous position to get this supervisor job, right? Because he has openly praised you. Or let's say I'm trying to get into Harvard. Harvard is a really good university. And my father went to Harvard. And he gives money every year to Harvard. I am put in an advantageous position when I apply to Harvard. Probably I will get in and another person will not get in. So now I want to switch gears. What does that mean? I want to change the topic. And that is a perfect way to talk about by the way. This can also be a way of switching gears. What does it mean to switch gears? If I'm teaching you one thing and I need to move on to another, I need to switch gears from thinking in this one way to thinking in another way. Maybe we are talking about math for a while, and I say, oh, now we need to talk about psychology. I'll say, okay, everybody, let's switch gears. Let's move on to psychology. This is how we use by the way. So let's say I'm making a sentence. I was talking to my friends who I went to school with about my new job. I was talking to my friends who I went to school with about my new job. So who I went to school with is an inserted sentence. It's a subordinate clause. If you take it out, it still means something. I was talking to my friends about my new job, but I want to tell you something more about my friends. I could say I was talking to my friends about my new job. I went to school with them. But it sounds a little better if I say I was talking to my friends who I went to school with about my job. But I'm going to show you a different thing I can do. I was talking to my friends who get drunk all the time about my new job. I was talking to my friends who get drunk all the time about my new job. Now, the previous one that I went to school with, that's actually kind of related to talking about your new job. This one is totally unrelated. Get drunk all the time. What does that have to do with talking to them about your new job? It's two totally different things, right? So I would put by the way here. We call this an aside. Why do we call it an aside? I'll show you physically what I mean by this. I was talking to my friends who like to get drunk all the time, by the way, about my new job. It's almost like by telling you this thing that's unrelated, it's like I'm pulling you aside and telling you something in secret, and then we go back to the conversation. And that's what by the way means. It means incidentally, not necessarily related to what I'm talking about, okay? So there's another way I could use this. We're talking about work and everything. Work, I like work, how's work for you? Oh, work's really good, blah, 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 blah. And then I go, by the way, I read an interesting article last week about ships. Ships have nothing to do with my job or what we were talking about. I'm changing subjects to something else quickly, but it's one particular thing. It's an incidental. It doesn't have to do with what we were talking about. It's kind of an aside. I'm switching subjects in a way. And then we could talk about ships. You know, if they're not interested, you'd go, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, I thought you might be interested in it. You can also use it when talking about something you're good at. We don't usually talk about things we're good at in English because we don't like to seem like we're praising ourselves. So maybe I'm talking with my friend about football, and then I go, oh, by the way, I was really good at football in high school. If I just say I was really good at football in high school, if I just say that to someone, in our culture we'd be like, why did you just tell me that? What am I supposed to do, bow down to you? So we kind of offset it by saying by the way. I hope this is interesting to you. All right. Hi everyone, welcome to RJK English. Make sure to like and subscribe, and that will help me make more of these videos. I'm on YouTube and on Instagram, and see us on Facebook, and we can talk further.